The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the Upmarket studio in the beautiful Ojai Valley of Southern California, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I am the CEO and a co-founder of Upmarket Media, and I just got chills thinking about it because Mark Corcoran is here. I'm so happy.
Oh boy, I give you chills. Good to know.
Another co-founder and our COO, and also even better, sorry Mark, but we have Chelsea here producing, Chelsea Froelich.
Hey guys.
Oh, hello. We're okay. Look, we got this lined up. We're actually finishing production on our course very shortly. So we're still in that pre-launch phase. So if you want to get in on our course on how to scale your real estate photography and media business, check out upmarketcourse.com and you can use the code PRE35, PRE35 to get 35% off in our pre-launch phase, which will be ending in the next few weeks as we finish off the content for the course, which is pretty exciting. And also we do still have going our on-demand free webinar, and that's at upmarketcourse.com/webinar. You can pop your email address in and get like a whole 45 minutes hour on kind of some of the fundamentals of scaling your business. I think could be worth your time. For this podcast, we wanted to kind of revisit an oldie but goodie, a fan favorite. We've heard from people about this one. It's an episode, I can't remember which one it is, but it was 3 or 4 months ago. It's called Big Deals. So this is going to be Big Deals, the sequel. Because we have some additional information. So if you really want the full context for this episode, you might want to listen to at least the first half of that last episode where we kind of detail this big Matterport job we have. And we thought also kind of talking about big deals is good because that's something good to think about right now and kind of what we're hearing across the industry is we're coming out of one of the slow seasons we've ever had. And I know we're definitely feeling that. That's what we're talking about internally. And so some of these big deals are stuff that might, save all of our bacons if we, so it's a little late to start working on it now to salvage this slow season. But I think that's what, we've been laying the groundwork for months and months and for years really for some of these things. And so hopefully they are going to come into fruition. But I know we'd love to hear from people if you are struggling in this slow season, and if there's things that we can talk about on this podcast that can help, even if it's just a sense of camaraderie, because I know it can be a little scary to come out of what's normally say November, December slow, and then January can be slow too. But to have it be this slow, it's definitely different.
I think for us too, right? You get through that first week or two of January maybe, and then you think, you feel it ramping up typically, and it's like slowly ramping up this year.
Very slowly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we were in our area in early January, we got these kind of giant rainstorms, which are a little out of the ordinary, especially in the last few years. And so kind of major flooding and stuff. So I think there's always this thing that when there are kind of some weather events, and especially on something like rain where you can see it coming in the forecast, that does, I think, tend to push shoots out a few weeks.
Because, we noticed that big time.
The homeowners see it or the agent sees it and they freak out, and kind of understandably so. And the amount of rain we had, it did take people a lot of time to clean up, even if you just have a regular suburban house. I mean, it's not like you could just go shoot the next day.
No, and rain is always just a non-factor for us, So you're not going to pick the 3 days a year that it rains to shoot your house. You're going to push it. Yeah,
exactly. Especially we have all gotten used to the last few years, which we've had kind of that ultra drought. And so I have, we did have the business going, or I had my business. We both had our separate businesses going in previous years that had a little more rain, and you just kind of dance around it. But, and I think Mark shoots in rain, or, it was a little more like, let's just shoot anyway, where I was like, let's push it. So, and we're of the mind, I don't care what weather it is, let's just go shoot.
Because that way something, right? Get the interiors, we'll come back for the front, whatever it is, get it on the books.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just generate some revenue.
Yes.
Bring it on. To recap the big deals, the original, it was kind of, we had, the first half of that show was kind of occupied by the kind of saga of us putting a bid in for this humongous Matterport job, right?
Yeah.
It was like,
and we kind of teased it out. I think that's why people enjoyed it, right? It's like, oh, are they going to get it? Did they? Oh, they must have gotten it.
Yeah,
They're talking
spoiler
about
alert. This is it. It's spoiler. You got to go back and listen if you want to find out. But I think you probably already figured out we did not get it. And it was, Mark, I don't think we even said on there, but how much it was like 3 million square feet, something like that.
Yeah,
God, I don't remember.
Absurd by the time we added it up. Yeah, it's crazy.
But what was the bid? I can't remember. It was like $220,000 or something.
Well, we started, I think, in the high six figures, and then we kind of circled back a few times and talked to our contacts. Oh, that's too cheap. Bring it up. So it was in the low twos by the end of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely a huge influx of money that would have been, which now actually just talking about it and thinking about it, I wish we had gotten that.
Yeah.
I
mean, by far would have been a single biggest invoice, right? And like, could have we pulled it off? Because looking at it was like, man, it was a lot of square footage, a lot of travel.
Yeah. And I remember sitting there at the end of December after all the stuff that we did in November and December. We had PMRE and then, just all the stuff, just normal holidays and whatever.
Right.
I was like, oh man, that would have been hard to do, because they wanted like 3 million square foot starting like November 15th and wanted it to be done by the end of the year.
Yeah.
It was just
across multiple states. And it was just like, holy smokes.
It was kind of an absurd job. And it would have, I think the logistics of it would have taken, it would have been really, really difficult. So, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. And just to tease it too, for this, we're going to talk about this job, and then we're also going to talk more about brokerage level deals, and we're going to do that in the second half of the show. But so this first half will be kind of like the original Big Deals episode will be kind of set up that way. So we didn't get that job, and my contact at the architecture firm that we're working with, which kind of does these big commercial projects, kind of fell off the radar. Like I emailed him kind of what happened, and I could just kind of tell that it was just like he wasn't feeling good about it. So I didn't really press it.
They were obviously just as surprised as we were that it didn't come through, right?
Probably more surprised. Yeah, they thought they really thought they had it. And I still have not gotten the postmortem on exactly what happened, but it sounded like our company, pretty much thought they had it in the bag for them to get the job, and the company went with somebody else. So that's why because I think if they would have gotten it, because the architecture firm was getting different bids from Matterport vendors. And so we had one of the bids in, and I feel pretty confident that they were going to go with us, but they just didn't get the job. So that's what killed that.
So they're, our architect contact, they've obviously worked with this company before. So they had an in, they thought it was kind of locked in and ready to go.
Yeah, for sure. So, that's why we got excited. That's why we had already started spending all that money.
Yeah. We've done a mini version. Now here comes the big version. We're ready for it.
Yeah.
We can pull this off.
And the backstory was that we had done a very small version of this the fall of 2021, where we did a couple commercial projects for this architect, but for the same company, the same retailer, and it was great. And so we'd had a great working relationship. It was nicely paid, and everyone pays, and it was fantastic. So we were all psyched. Well, we didn't get that $230,000 job, and so but my contact kind of mid-December came by, or early December, and kind of popped back up and said, "Hey, we have a smaller version of this."
Yeah. No, I remember you messaged me and said, "Hey, our contact's back again." And I was like, whoa, like the big job? And you're like, well, he's back, but we have, a different version again. Yeah,
exactly. So he pitched it to me as like, oh, well, kind of more like the original job we did together, which was a good job. I mean, and so this one was going to be a 3 different stores that they're redoing, and just certain sections of the stores. And so these stores are just giant retail stores, right? So it was really just kind of a portion of the store, but it was still going to be 3 different locations, and between like 18 and 23 or 24,000 square feet for each location. So still pretty damn sizable.
Yeah, you're talking 60,000 plus square feet. Right?
Yeah, that's a lot. And so we had, and at different locations, none of them, that close to where we are. I mean, one was kind of close. And so he was like, we do have to bid on it. And so we put together a bid, but we weren't competing with anyone else for the Matterport support part of this job.
Right.
So they were kind of, I guess the architecture firm was competing with another architecture firm, but they were pretty confident that they were going to get it.
And for us, it was kind of like, oh, here we go again. Like, don't get your hopes up too much, but it's like, it feels a bit better.
And this was another thing where they're like, oh, they need it done by the end of the year. And you're like, wait a sec, do you want us to go scan during Christmas holiday time, all this and fly and, and at the busiest time of year for these stores. So we ended up getting it. I think that's, was I think pretty clear that we're talking. Yeah, we got it. And they actually ended up pushing kind of the date. So we didn't have to start working on it until January. So this one is 3 stores. And I think all told, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it here, but we bid, I think it ended up being like almost $11,000.
Yeah, close to 11, like that. Yeah.
So nice. And especially right now, we will take it.
Yeah. That's really the beauty of this whole thing, right? It's the timing for us.
Yeah.
In the industry. It's like, oh man, we'll take that little bump.
Yeah, right exactly. That helps out on a payroll. And, but that includes our travel and all that stuff. And so what we kind of decided is, how best are we going to tackle that? Because it does mean, by the time you travel and everything else, it's probably 5 to 6 days of work, even though it's really only 3 days of scanning. Someone's going to be out for that amount of time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we, I don't know if you guys have listened to the podcast and if you heard, but I don't really shoot anymore.
Photos, what are those? I don't do those.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, that has come up once or twice. But it didn't make sense really for Mark to do them because it takes him out of the field because he's still shooting. And then it kind of doesn't make sense when you're traveling, you have these big jobs to send hourly employees because all of our employees are paid by the hour. It's kind of tough to send hourly employees to travel. So you got to do the per diem. They're getting paid for all the travel time.
Yeah, you pay them as soon as they leave their door until, they get back basically. Like,
it's a little, And I'm sure there's definitely ways to do it because you're like, well, you're going to be in, Wichita, Kansas and, I'm not paying you all night when you're not working, but
maybe you set up a day rate or you set up something that makes sense for everyone.
Yeah. So it just felt a little bit tricky. And then again, any of our staff that are out doing these jobs are not available here to shoot. And really, I guess right now to not shoot. So this would be the time of year to do it. So, but we did decide that good old Reed.
Yeah.
Get back on the horse.
We didn't pressure you, right? It was a self-volunteered. He was like, I put my hand up here. Yeah. Get him in there.
So it's actually not that, I feel like this is kind of a low pressure job. Not that the pressure gets to me or anything, but it's really, when you're doing a Matterport on a big commercial space like this, and it's just for architecture, right? It's just because they're going to remodel these stores. So it doesn't really matter what the model looks like. It doesn't have to be perfect. People can be in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, you have to be a little more thorough because you want to make sure that you get all the data that they need. So you don't want there to be any missing spots.
But there's more leeway for other things that you focus on in the house, right? You're like, I'll just let that go.
100%. Yeah. So it's like, I don't, as of this recording, I'm heading out tomorrow to fly to Texas to do the last store. And then I did a couple here in California a couple weeks ago. The protocol is we go in before the store opens like 7 a.m. and start. And then, but because it's so large, we cannot finish in time before the store opens at whatever time, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you are ending up kind of doing some of these scans with the customers in the store. And the employees there, and
I'm curious, what kind of interaction or do people like? What are you doing? Or they're just ignoring you, or looking at you weird? Or just like,
the thing is, no one cares.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're like a shopper at the store, they don't care. There's some guy with the, I don't even know what that is, but with a tripod, and it's like you're the survey crew on the side of the road. I mean, no one cares. And then the employees at a certain point, they'll see you around and they'll just say, oh, hello. And these stores, there's a lot of employees, and they probably have a lot of different vendors coming in all the time.
Sure.
Is what I've noticed is really once you're in, you're in. I mean, no one really pays you any mind.
Right.
And then they're friendly. Oh, hello. And then after you've seen them for an hour, they'll come up and they'll be, so what exactly are you doing?
My boss didn't tell me about you. What are you doing?
Well, because I do think they have like their maintenance crews and, other people come in all the time. I mean, there's people, and it's a giant store with 1 million displays. And so there's always a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
No one gives you a hard time now.
When I did it a year ago, I did get a hard time from later in the day. I think the security staff changed over. And so I got the security guard getting up in my grill. I hit him. It was fine.
I'm just standing.
I'm an intimidating guy, so I can take him out. So it became a matter of like, you talk to the store manager, or, I'm like, and because I'm not there alone, so the architect is there, and then they have another vendor there who's doing a different type of survey, and I don't really know. I don't understand any of this stuff.
And they're there measuring stuff, and you're like, wait a second, you can like pull measurements from the Matterport,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, yes, I know, because I think what happened was this architecture firm is not used to using Matterport, and that was a request from the store, and so they said, okay, yeah, we'll add that on, and not having used it before, they didn't really know all the features that Matterport has. And so it was a great opportunity for me to pull my contact, the architect, aside and say, oh, I see you're taking some physical measurements here. Do you understand what the beauty of the Matterport is? You can actually go in the model. And then I kind of just brought it up on my phone and showed him. And then he was like, will you marry me? I mean, it was like, he was just like, so
mind blowing.
Yeah, it was. And it was like such a light bulb moment for him. He was like, oh yeah, we're doing this on every project now. I was like, okay,
wow.
You know what?
We're here.
Exactly.
That might have been the best conversation you ever had.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I do think, in kind of the kind of actionable thing for our listeners on this is one of the big untapped markets for, I think, Matterport technology, if you are doing Matterport, are architects and, builders and stuff.
Yeah, commercial scale stuff.
Who can really use the data that the Matterport stuff has, or even just literally being able, if you're remodeling a house, to be able to go in there 9 months later and be like, where was that light socket? And be, because every architect I've ever worked with has said, oh yeah, you forget. And then you got to send someone out to go see if there is a light socket there and measure it. Totally. And then now it's just like there. And so they're using it, all the time. Like, they say, oh yeah, we're in there every day looking at stuff. So I think it's really, and in a way it actually where sometimes emotionally, like when we produce our work and stuff, you're like, oh, what good are we doing in the world? How are we helping people? Maybe they're building their businesses, but with this, there's like such a practical purpose to it. You're like, oh, it kind of feels good to be like, hey, I know, 6 months from now, this person's life will be better because they have this Matterport.
I mean, let's face it, it's not the most exciting thing to do, right? You're just going there like, you just feel like a robot just going through one after the other.
A little bit. I think if I did 2 back-to-back, one in the morning, then that night drove to Palm Springs and did another one the next morning. By the end of that second one, you're like, okay, that's good. But but for me, when I'm not out, I haven't been out shooting that much, it actually wasn't even that bad. And so here's the thing. I don't know if you've done Matterport, if you've ever done a large commercial space like that's pretty much flat, you really use a tripod dolly. And that is like the key to everything. Yeah. And so in a residential place, that's probably not going to work because there's too much furniture and there's steps and different kind of surfaces.
It's not practical. But man, that's a shoulder saver, right? If you had to pick that thing up every time you did.
Oh yeah,
how many scans?
And it's just and you just kind of push it along, and it's all it stays leveled. And I mean, it's just like it's so key, right? So immediately you have that tripod dolly, and it makes scanning those big spaces like so much easier. And then the other thing that we did, because we had the money to do it, is we bought the Matterport Pro 3 camera. Right.
Yeah. How much of a game changer was that doing a huge space?
It was huge. I ran into an issue the first day because the one thing about that Pro 3 is the battery doesn't last that long. And there were no extra batteries available when we ordered it.
That's right.
And so, because it's just so new. And so I ran out of battery, like 3/4 of the way through. So I had to break for like an hour to let that thing charge up. But the game changer is, yes, if you have an extra battery, which we do now, we were able to get one. And so in Texas, which is the biggest store, I will have an extra battery. So that's nice.
Yeah. But I mean, on the ground, like you're saving so much time per scan, huh?
That's crazy. Man. Yeah. We threw it up, and I think in our stories the other day, but man, it's just like 17 seconds for a full spin, as opposed to like 42 with the Pro 2 camera.
Yeah.
I mean, really, 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 really.
Yeah. Significant.
Really
and it's only stopping 4 times as opposed to the 6 times and waiting, and then it's just like, man, boom, boom, boom. You can really fly.
Oh yeah, it's so nice, and it kind of the distance it scans is a little bit more. So you still have to do more scans than you want to do, but it was so much better than doing it. Because on that second day, I was done with the 20,000 square feet in under like 3.5 hours. Wow. No, 3 hours of scanning, because I was like, I think the store opened at 10. I was out of there by 10:30, but I didn't get the first scan off till 7:30. I think.
That's, I remember that. I slacked you in the afternoon. Oh, how's it going? You're like, oh, you didn't see my message at 11 o'clock. I'm like, what? Like, wow, that was like impressive.
Yeah, so I was lounging by the pool in Palm Springs. No, just kidding.
Here it goes again.
The Embassy Suites in Palm Desert and it was cold. You know, it gets cold in the desert in the wintertime. It can.
It's tough, man.
I know. It's a rough life over here for Reed. So we did make that decision to kind of put the profits from that job into getting the Matterport 3 camera. And I don't think I regret it. And we did say, and we can, reconvene after I get back from Texas, of like, well, we can always return it within 30 days if we decide we don't want it.
It's a possibility, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, just to the logistics of you doing this job, I feel like it's like, that's worth it. And then to have it in our arsenal moving forward is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, for sure. And we already did. We did one a couple days ago. We just had a regular Matterport order, and then we added on the exterior scanning, and scanned the whole outside of one of the houses we did, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. I actually truly think it will sell us more Matterport scans for sure.
Really...
And just the interior too, the quality of the scans and stuff. I'm like, wow, you could actually pull a photo from that, because it's like
we've pulled it from the Pro 2 in a pinch.
But even better this time,
Oh, you think? I haven't even checked that out really, but you've noticed you definitely you in a pinch.
Yeah, I mean, I know the files are bigger and higher resolution, and it's just a better product.
Yeah, for sure. But you got to pay for it. I mean, with tax, it was like $6,500.
Yeah,
I mean, it ain't cheap, And so ideally, though, we'd want to have 3 of those, but that ain't happening right now.
No. That was on the budget for the big job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Job,
exactly.
But not this one.
Well, here's the thing that I do want to touch on a little bit after now having scanned that. And so the part I scanned in these giant retail stores, it was just like kind of one set, it's a department store. And so it was just kind of the beauty section, right? Well, that encompasses, and they ask for also, you go into women's shoes a little bit. You don't have to get the whole thing, but they basically they want to circle that whole area with 10 feet on either side, right? So it ends up being 21,000 square feet, and I was just down there in the first floor of that department store and being like, oh man, I'm barely doing half of this, and by that first day, I was running into the model failing. I couldn't, the Matterport model couldn't take any more scans. I got up to 300 some odd, and it just kept failing. And so I actually had to break it up into 2 different models.
Yeah.
And on that one, it worked out because they kind of wanted some of the exterior. The store goes into a mall, and they kind of wanted some of that exterior in the mall. And so that was a very obvious breaking point. And so it totally worked, and it was fine with the client. But the logistics of, because what they had wanted in that bigger job was they wanted basically one model per floor. And I don't even know if that would have been possible.
I think it's impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not with the
Matterport. And maybe if you were doing with the Rico Theta or, something, I don't know if you have more leeway with that, but I hear there's more alignment problems with that. I didn't have any alignment issues doing the Matterport, but the model was breaking at a certain point after 300 some odd or 200.
So
I don't remember how many
scans. It's too clunky to work with. It's just not responsive, and you're just like, I'm kind of,
it's not responsive, and it would just crash the program.
Man.
And so one of the tricks you can do with Matterport, if you ever run into problems with alignment stuff or whatever, is you can just copy the model and then start scanning off that new model, and somehow that it's just like pressing restart on something. It somehow magically fixes things. I tried that, but it didn't work. So eventually I just had to give up because I was like, I need to do like 15 more scans, and it's taking me 6 tries to get one scan.
I remember looking in their, online at their what they recommend, and I forget what their limit. I know it's not 300. I'm sure it's less than that. What they recommend, like their max is.
Oh, really? I thought there was way bigger ones, but I don't know. I think we've done bigger ones, like when we did like the big hotel here.
I think we talked about too with the Pro 2 though. Like every scan, like is higher resolution. It's a bigger file, right? So you with just kind of hit a ceiling with the Pro 3 because it's just so much bigger.
Yeah. So and also just looking at it from a time perspective of like how grueling that would have been to have to do like a whole floor and then come back the next day and do the next floor and then come back the next day and do the next floor. And then I think one of them was even 4 floors.
Oh my
God. The next day. And you're just like, oh, that would have been really, really tough on everybody.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think we could have, the nice thing about it, we could have dried our tears with money.
Makes good Kleenex.
So it probably would have worked better. But it did really make me think as we are, again, bringing it back to what can we learn from this when we are looking at these really big type of jobs. If you ever are in a position to get that, don't underestimate the logistical challenges that could actually bring. Because I do feel that after doing those 2 a couple weeks ago, we might have been up shit creek a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we were, felt like in the moment we were like giving ourselves plenty of time, giving ourselves plenty of budget,
right?
All that stuff.
We padded it a few times. We're like, man, are we really going to charge this rate?
Yeah. And even just thinking of being overly optimistic on how much people could actually do in a day or in a whatever. I think we really would have had a challenge kind of keeping our commitment on that, because I think we would have.
That was a big ask.
Yeah, it would have been too much. So,
especially with our people, it was one thing you were there with your contact, the architect, and you were kind of troubleshooting it. But if we sent someone in the field to do that, and they, what are we doing? And it's just like,
I really think I sometimes have a tendency just to be like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, no big deal. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we always figure it out. Well, we would have had to figure it out, but I think it just would have been,
would have been way more models than we would have anticipated. There would have to be overlap between the models, and it would have had to been a whole. Yeah,
and I think even just like, oh, you got to be in Minneapolis 3 extra days. Sorry,
Yeah.
And so
this is going to take 3 times longer than we thought.
Yeah, exactly. And which I think we had enough room in the budget that would have been fine, but you're also just like. And I guess it was so slow here, we could have had staff gone for that long, and we would have actually had to probably subcontract or bring on, kind of project-based staff to do it. I don't think our current team could have done it, but we weren't shooting that much here, so we probably it would have been easier to manage, but man. Yeah, I like it didn't make me, because I'm still sad we didn't get that job, but it definitely made me be like, oh man, that would have been hard. We would have really had to earn that money, where it felt like when we were making that bid, it felt like easy money.
I know.
And I think it would have been
going up, and now, man, this is crazy. This is gravy.
I think it could have been hard money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the end, because it's just, man, getting through one store, let alone 20 some stores, would have been brutal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, just doing a fraction of one store, and you're just like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. That's why we didn't get it.
Oh, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
So the reason that we're going to break now
Nice.
Thank you. We're going to do some ads. We're going to we got to make some money somehow these days.
Come on,
so
people.
yeah, this is what we're going to do. And then we're going to come back and talk about some breaking news, some developments in the brokerage deal landscape for Upmarket Media. I mean, very exciting. And we got action items. Oh man, do we have action items?
So much action.
Keep it here, people. Presenting sponsors, Aereo. A little foreshadowing. We were talking about these brokerage deals. We're going to get into it in the second half of the show. But one of the things that came up, Mark,
Yeah. I mean, one of the things brokers are looking for, right, is like some kind of central system where they can log in, their marketing people can log in, all the agents have access to one kind of system. And that system is Area for us, right? So we can add their team members, their marketing people, everyone can log into the same point.
Yeah, we were in that meeting. Mark pulled out his laptop, it's a PC, but he showed...
Called out.
he showed the broker, Aereo. Showing him, what's it going to look like when you log in? And the broker was like, "Oh, I love this. This is amazing.
Simplistic. It makes sense. It's all tabular. It's like boom.
The whole marketing team has access to all the photos. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. And here's the order form. Here's what it looks like.
And then we were able to show them not website builder, the flyer builder,
the marketing materials builder. Show them what the download center looks like, and it was like, oh, this is really great.
All right, I'm sold. Look, if you want to get in on this and you want to close deals, that's what we're about on this podcast. There's no other we're about closing deals. If you want to close deals, use Aereo. It's gonna get you there. If you use the code Upmarket at checkout at Aereo.com, any new user gets 15 bonus listings. Once again, it's a no-brainer. If you have no brain, you can use Aereo. And if you have a big brain, you can also use Aereo. They accept all brains.
Take them all.
Oh man, it's always good when we can have a sponsor for the social media sidebar. And today we have probably the best one, Local Marketing Department, your white label solution for selling your realtors SEO, lead generation, social media management, all these good things. You can turn your real estate media company into a full service realtor marketing agency. Mark, feed me with some good tidbits about Local Marketing Department.
I mean, it's like you're expanding your services without doing all the back end work. That's the beauty of it, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, because I hate back end work.
Right. He wants to come up with Facebook posts for realtors and all that. I
hate front end work. I hate back end. I'm just not into work. I'm just not into work. I think we've, I like doing the podcast. It doesn't feel like work, but outside of that, man. So Local Marketing Department makes it easy because they give you a whole deck on how you can sell this to your clients. They give you all the talking points. So we can kind of lay the groundwork, kind of help make that sale, and then just turn them over to Local Marketing Department. And you know what they do? Take the client and then just give us money every month.
Yeah. How beautiful is that?
It's so beautiful. That's what I love, is getting money.
Yeah. And we just say, hey, we'll have someone from our local marketing department contact you.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, there it is.
Oh, come on. So you got to check this out, people. So get in there, go to localmarketingdepartment.com, and that's DEPT, department is not all the way spelled out, localmarketingdepartment.com. And if you sign up and you mention that you heard it on the Upmarket podcast, they're going to give you a free month, and then they're going to give 2 3-month service packages to 2 of your realtors so that they can try it out, get on the train, and it can be telling all their other realtor friends and cronies all about it, and they're going to be using it too. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
In our social media world, I think we kind of have some stuff that's been going on.
Yeah, you might have noticed a little difference in the feed lately.
If you've been following us, if you follow Upmarket Media on Instagram, I follow our kind of flagship brand, not the Upmarket Pod, which oh man, we will be getting that social media better, and especially I think starting with this podcast, we're going to have some video content for that. But what did we guys? Chelsea? I think Chelsea, you should say kind of what we've started doing.
You finally get to see my face more on the social media.
Yes,
it's very exciting.
Yeah, very for all of us. Yeah, but so what did we do this last
our short-term video content that we were talking about?
Yeah,
starting producing that.
So it's not just here's another house and here's another house. It's
we still got that too.
Yeah,
we need that. But this it's like, how is it to work with us? What are we like? Who are we like behind the scenes?
Exactly. Yeah, getting to know us better.
And so I think we've put out 4 or 5 of these at this point of recording, and it's just life-changing. The world is on it's caught fire in such a giant way. Oh, Yesterday, I noticed the last one was we had posted it, and it was like 3 hours later. I'm like, oh, good, I'll be the 5th like on this.
There you go.
Yeah,
Boosted up a bit.
I don't know that we've been getting quite the traction yet that we wanted, but
it's interesting though. Like I think with any post, like you don't know who's really seen it because not everyone's liking it. And I'll run into 3 people, and I saw that post about what you guys are doing, and that's really cool that you're. So people are seeing it. They're noticing.
We have to look at the statistics.
Oh yeah, see, I don't have access to that. Oh no, Mark sent me the login. I have to log in again.
Yeah, it's in there.
But I did get feedback. I got a realtor texted me and said, I saw the videos you've been doing on Instagram. You have such adorable stage presence.
Oh, wow. Adorable, huh?
And I was like, that actually offended me because I was going for like studly and sexy. But
yeah, it's not an adjective I think of when I think of Reed.
Yeah, adorable.
Adorable.
No, but I wanted the sexy. It was adorable. See, this is just a failure. This is just a total failure. No, so we did get some nice feedback about it, but I want it to be one of those reels that thousands of people
just
are seeing.
Took off. But yeah, we're on the right track, right? Short form video, everyone knows that's where you need to be. We got the captions on there. You can cross post it to YouTube Shorts, to TikTok.
Yeah, and we probably want to experiment with different setups in terms of like where we are, because I think we just kind of stood in the studio and maybe we want to do us sitting here with the microphones, which is going to be the content that I think we're going to do in Upmarket Pod.
Yeah, it's coming your way.
But yeah, I think we can experiment, and we're going to do some out in the field. We're going to get Mark out there,
apparently,
demonstrating stuff at shoots. Apparently. Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. For sure. So it is a new era. It does feel good to have a little bit of different kind of content on there.
It does. Yeah.
Freshens it up.
It's like a little, I guess scary at first to put yourself out there, but once the first one's out, it's just like, all right, so we're doing this now. It's like, whatever.
You mean scary for Chelsea and I, because I didn't notice Mark in any of them yet.
Oh, there's one out there.
Yeah. Oh, is it out there?
It's not live in the world
yet,
but
okay.
It's coming.
Yeah, we've recorded it. Yeah. So I am glad that we have been doing that. And so if you want to follow along, follow us at upmarket.media on Instagram. And then we're Upmarket Pod across all social media, mainly just Instagram. And TikTok. We got to be posting these on TikTok.
Oh,
we're also, did you do it on YouTube yet?
Yeah.
You did? You
3 of them are on YouTube Shorts already, yeah.
Okay, so our Upmarket Media YouTube channel, we are dedicated now to also pumping that up, that we need to be, it's like, we just have let it lie fallow. We need to be posting like every single video we produce, property videos, short form videos, everything. So that's going to be part of the new workflow.
Yeah. Chelsea's already carving out time for it, for all the videos we have, and then I'll add, our new stuff to it. So
yes,
that's
for sure.
The beauty of the short form. It's just like the cross post is so easy.
Yeah. So yeah, we just need to be putting it in. Did we do it on TikTok too? Oh, all right. Yeah. Good job. Should I download TikTok? I should. I don't know. I feel like it's just I feel like it's gonna be a time suck because I'm just gonna watch all the.
I think I've downloaded it 3 times and then deleted it 3 times.
Are we talking about that dating app, or are we talking about TikTok?
No, TikTok.
Are they still doing the dancing?
Yeah, there's everything.
Yeah,
everything and anything.
That's such a small part of it, but yeah, it's on there.
The dancing's such a small part of it.
It is. It's a whole world in there.
Right. Well, okay. No, I don't know. I gotta. Right now, I'm just gonna trust that Mark is posting it to TikTok.
I'll send you a screenshot.
Download it when you're gone.
Yeah.
On your trip, and then just give it a shot. While you're there.
Yeah.
You can focus on it.
Yeah, focus on it in the hotel room. Then 3 hours later.
Exactly.
So how many followers do we have on TikTok?
I don't know the stats off the top of my head. I'd have to look at it.
But you do. It's the same. It's the same thing. You do have followers and stuff.
You have followers. You have likes and comments. It's very similar. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
One of our favorite clients actually commented on the first video that posted of you and Chelsea.
Oh, really? Wow. Like an actual favorite or a non-favorite?
Like a least favorite. Yeah.
Oh, at least okay.
You'll check it out. You'll see.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for that. And then, so rate, subscribe, all those things. Come on, people. Love it. That's all the stuff we want to talk about.
Send us the love. Send us the feedback.
Yeah. We got to, and hit up our advertisers, man. Make it worth their while to give us their money. I mean, we want this, we want this to work, right? So, all right. We were going to come back and talk brokerage deals. we're so excited to still be having our relationship with Pixel Mob, the online marketplace where you are able to find verified editors for your photos. How key is that, guys?
Amazing.
Everyone needs editors. Once you get to a certain point, I mean, it's just the first thing you do, and that's the easiest place to go find them.
And the certain point is I did my first real estate shoot. I'm going to send them out because I think even if you're just starting out, you want to begin where you want to end up. You want to be using editors. So I think you don't have to have a big company. You don't have to be maxed. I think it's still a good workflow to use editors. Yes, I think you should know how to edit stuff yourself, but I mean, come on. We have other things we can do with our lives unless you just really, really love editing, which some people do.
We
have someone on our team who loves it, but she's wonderful, but I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. So if you want to give Pixel Mob a try, check out all the editors, check out all the services that they have. We highly recommend it. If you go to pixelmob.com/upmarket, you're going to get $25 in credit, 25 big ones, big dollars, not big,
That's a good head start. Get on in there.
And so it's Pixelmob, pixlmob.com/upmarket or /upmarket. I don't even know. Do we say backslash anymore? Is it just slash? Yeah, slash. I think you know what to do. Type in the damn thing and get $25. It's pretty easy. We are actually pretty thrilled about this one. We have another new sponsor of the Upmarket podcast. The good people at Second Floor App have joined the family. Second Floor App, Mark.
Welcome to the family, people. I mean, we met these guys, right? At PMRE. Some great guys.
Yeah.
Super impressive. And their app is super impressive. So Second Floor App is a floor plan builder, right?
Yes, it is.
And it's the fastest way to make floor plans, right?
Yep.
Because it updates in real time. And as you do it on site, as soon as you're done, you're going to be able to deliver it to your client. It is real time. Real time. And it looks super cool when you're building it because all the stuff pops up and it's like,
it's app based. You're just using your phone like some other apps out there, but you're scanning it. It's literally building it in front of you as you're turning around and moving through the house.
Yeah. And it's still accurate. It's, it gives you all the stuff that you want out of a floor plan. And even if you're on there doing it while like an agent is kind of looking over your shoulder because it looks so cool, like they're still going to think you're a pretty cool person.
Yeah. I mean, it's cutting edge stuff that they've come up with. It's the only place that's doing it like they do it. It's very cool. Well,
yeah, because there's a lot of competitors in the space now, and these guys are like the fresh upstart, and that's why I'm actually really excited to partner with them and help build them up because I think they have a really exciting program that I'm glad we're a part of, and that and I know we're going to be using it out in the field coming up here. So I'm excited to get that going. And if you want to check out Second Floor App, look, they have a special thing. So it's secondfloorapp.com, Second Floor App, and that's spelled out SECOND floorapp.com/upmarket. Do you know what you're going to get? Look, normally if you go on there, they have a sweet deal for any just normal person out there. They get the 1 week free trial, but a sweeter deal for Upmarket listeners. You go to /Upmarket, you're going to get a free month of service. How many floor plans can you do in a month?
Quadruple the deal.
Yeah. I mean, that's so like you can do a lot. Not us right now. We have no shoots, but theoretically,
there's other people that are working.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be fantastic. So secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. Give it a shot. Check it out. Oh man, brokerage deals. That's something I think everyone talks about all the time. Or who am I kidding? People talk about it sometimes. It's, whatever. It's
always on your list, right?
Yeah,
it's on the radar.
It's on the list. So we have actually made some progress on brokerage deals in this last couple weeks, right?
We have. We've got a lot going on, actually. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the kind of the newer one. That's with a brokerage we don't have a deal with. So we've been out there. So this is how this has worked for us. We've definitely, in the last 2 years, and really kind of since these networking things have started back up after, once things have opened up a little bit more from COVID restrictions, Mark and I have really made an effort to go out and do the networking events that the realtors are showing, right? And I think through that, it kind of cultivated or rekindled, I don't even know.
Yeah, just an opportunity to chat with the right people, right?
Right, right. And so there was this client of Mark, who's a realtor client of Mark's, who then recently went on to manage a new brokerage.
Right.
And because we were talking to him at these, or Mark was, I didn't know the guy, at these kind of networking events, we were top of mind.
Exactly. That's all it takes sometimes, right? Because you're like the known person in town, but if you're never seeing these people or you're never shaking hands or chatting, it's just like you're not top of mind. So here, we met this guy and chatting about his new role and his new brokerage and what kind of stuff he was trying to put together for his agents. And because he'd come from another brokerage that had an existing brokerage relationship with a larger photography company. So he's looking to recreate that. And, we were the first people that he thought of to kind of make that happen. Right.
And so he approached you at one of these events and kind of told you, right? So what was he looking for?
So he's looking for something to simplify. His biggest thing is like, I feel like that's the thing, like all the different brokers that we talk to, like they're all looking for something similar, but it's different for each brokerage depending on what level they're at.
Right.
And he was just looking for something to mainly simplify the whole process across the board and create some kind of consistency.
Right.
Because he was coming together and trying to bring several brokerages basically together in like a large conglomerate. So he was looking for some kind of consistency across the board there.
Right.
And then, he has some strange, I guess what we call them strange requests, like a little bit outside the box of what we were already offering. We just, I really want this type of flyer, or can you do this type of QR code on a sticker, or it's some weird kind of stuff. But we're like, we just kind of said, yes, we can let's just make it happen.
So you had kind of laid the groundwork with this guy. And then last week you and I went in and had a more formal meeting on like, okay, what do you want this to look like? And what are the parameters of that? Yeah. And one of his big things is like, before the shoot, can you put a QR code on a giant sticker that then the photographer can bring it to the shoot, and then we can put it on the sign?
Yeah, you hand the sticker to the agent, they slap it on the sign, and we're. I'm like,
no. I mean, that was one where I don't think we were just like, yeah, sure.
Right.
We just, we can figure out a solution for this issue because there's just no possible way there's a workflow for that.
No.
So all of our photographers should have industrial sticky printers at their house that they can.
The whole thing made no sense.
But anyway, we went in and we had this meeting. And so how did it was
kind of a precursor meeting to a bigger meeting that we're building up to, because he's having a manager meeting with all of the kind of managers and brokers for this big conglomerate. So he was trying to get us kind of streamlined what we could offer, what we can bring, and then launch that to kind of his managers.
Right. And so he was saying not that, hey, Upmarket's going to be our exclusive vendor, but he basically, though, wants to funnel everyone to us. So it's a highly recommended vendor, and then we would be kind of the example of what they're looking for. And basically, he wants to force, even though he's not paying for it, he's going to essentially force agents to have uniformity in the marketing in terms of the package that they get. And we kept trying to say, how do you feel about video and Matterport in this package? Well, he doesn't feel that good about it.
No, he's not onto video really at all. Like it was off his radar, didn't bring it up once. So it's kind of interesting.
No. So it was just photos and like a floor plan. And then
the kind of back end stuff that we can produce with Area, right?
Like website and a flyer.
Yeah.
Basically is what he wants, which is all great because it's included for free.
Yeah. That's easy for us. We're already doing it, right? So it's just like, we can totally do that for all your agents.
Yeah, no exactly. And so, and he didn't even really care. Like he was basically like, cause I know like Cubicasa has that free floor plan option that doesn't have fixed furniture or whatever. And he's like, I don't need fixed furniture. And you're like, okay, well, we can do it. We can just do it with that then. That's easy and free, or we'll see what the second floor products have. And, it's the way to, is just a way to keep it consistent for him. And it really, he kept talking about this big package, and I was like, this isn't even a package.
No,
but that's
he
fine.
wanted this as this is your basic entry level package that everyone has access to. And then, we have our other services that can be added on, or maybe there's a video package as an option. But he was more concerned about just having like these 4 kind of core products available to every agent.
Right. And 3 of them are so simple. It's not even like and it's just photos. So it's not even aerials or.
Right, and we're we can deliver an MLS and high res, and here's that download. He's like, this is great.
Yeah, I think it exceeded his expectations. And so this guy, so now the next step is so we kind of had a handshake deal. I mean, not that it was a deal. It was just, we'll put together a package and we'll give you a dedicated order form on our website. Yeah. And now next week, is it next week or in 2 weeks, we got to go to his management meeting where like the 4 brokers of record. So he's managing like, I can't even know, like 30 branches of.
Yeah. He just kept rattling off locations. It was
this brokerage that's all around in Ventura County and kind of, outlying counties. But it would be like 300 some odd agents that he's funneling business to.
At least. Yeah.
And we don't have a ton of agents at that brokerage. In fact, I think we have 1 or 2 of like their top agents as our clients, and then maybe a couple more like sub agents somewhere.
It's kind of a spattering. It's definitely not our biggest client.
Yeah, not at all. And I don't think it's a brokerage that is like the super high producing brokerage. So it's not like it would be like 1,000 shoots, but if you have 300, 400, 500 agents, they are going to get some listings. And so I think, and hopefully if they're all start using superior marketing products, they're going to be able to get more listings. And so you have that feedback.
Yeah, we help to build them up, right? As they go.
So what's our next step with them?
So we need to put together kind of a presentation. Like we have our broker presentation, but we need to kind of modify that obviously to what, to kind of lay out exactly what we're going to provide and why it makes sense to use a company like us. Right.
And this is, and this meeting, we're going to be selling like the 4 managing brokers of the 4 main offices that are under this guy's control.
Yeah. Because our guy, he's on board. He basically approached us.
And he's,
so it's a matter of
but he's the king. And then, but he's got to get his princess, to use the analogy, to then buy in as well. So, because they're the ones who are going to be directly communicating with the agents and recommending the products.
Yeah.
For people,
so it's just a matter of us putting the presentation together that kind of sells us as like, oh, this totally makes sense. I see why he wants to go this route.
Right. So, and then I think that's it. I don't even think it's a big sales thing. We just have to like, we don't have to convert on this. It's just, this is actually a matter of like, okay, we have the deal, the quote unquote deal. Now we just have to give those managing brokers the tools to sell us to their clients.
For sure. Yeah. So, and they're going to do the push to the agents. Yeah. So
to their agents,
they'll do it as, we're the preferred vendor. This is what you're getting out of the deal.
Right.
It's kind of,
So hopefully this could mean a big bump in volume for us, at least on the photo side, which would be fine. I'm fine. Look, any kind of volume right now.
We'll take it. And it's, the one good thing that he didn't, I thought he was going to push us on price. Or what kind of discount can you, but he was like, oh, I don't really, I'm not looking for a discount. Just give me the simplicity of the system. And this is what I want. Whatever you guys need to charge. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Sounds fine to me. Yeah. Yeah. No problem. And that was on the heels. We did that the same day, actually, this is something we've talked about so many times, but we actually, for a separate brokerage, we actually did our first official brokerage presentation.
We did. It felt good.
Yeah.
To get that out there.
Yeah.
I put together, what we feel like was a good prepresentation. Reed and I both went. And
I think between the two of us, we've been talking about doing that for literally like 19 years. 18 years, the 20 years, the whole time we've had our businesses, and we've never done one.
Basically, yeah.
So we finally did it.
It's a good time of year to do it, right? When you've got,
when there's no listings.
Nothing else going on.
It went well. It was pretty informal.
Yeah. And I kind of, you expect to walk into a meeting room and be like standing in front of a huge table of agents, but it was different than that.
It felt like more like a co-work space.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of like that. It was like, oh, you guys want to come up? And we just kind of, made it work, and they ran the slides for us, and we got a lot of good interaction and feedback and questions. And
yeah. Awesome. So Chelsea put together the presentation. She was not there. But but you were there in spirit because thanks. Because you put together the presentation. Exactly. So I think Mark did a couple tweaks, but you laid the groundwork for that. I did want to do that because I think that's, if you are going to get brokerage level deals, that's kind of like the first step in a way, or it's, unless it is just, the broker and you go up to them at networking events.
Yeah. But that's a good, mainly I think the best way is to get a couple agents, key agents in that office, right? And then you use them as your leverage point to be like, we can do
and
this.
that's how we got into that office. Cause that office that we went to was up in Westlake Village, which is kind of the far reaches of Ventura County. And it's like the very kind of where we kind of want to break into. And it's kind of the furthest point up in East Ventura County. And we had a couple agents in that office as our clients already. And so that's how we got our foot in the door. And then we had those agents there, and they vouched for us in front of everyone. So it was, that's a really, really ideal situation.
That was nice on the way out. Yes. Oh, I use these guys and they're this and they're that. And that was money.
Yeah. Totally. And then kind of all coming at the same time and kind of not really anything that we've been cultivating it for years, but the one brokers that we do have kind of a deal with already, and this deal is not an exclusive deal. It's just we're one of their preferred vendors, and, but they funnel a lot of their business to us. In fact, I think we shoot like 60. They were just telling me on the phone that we shoot about 65% of their listings.
So I kind of thought it would be more than that, honestly, but that's
yeah. I mean,
room to grow.
Yeah. But still, it's a sizable, a sizable brokerage. They do, it's maybe they're maybe a little more on the boutique side. So they don't have hundreds of agents, but they're doing, and so in the course of this conversation, they're talking that they're projecting that this, in 2023, they're going to do, 160 listings or something like that. Right. So, if we did 65%, that's about 100, so which is nice, right?
Yeah.
Not the biggest thing, but a lot of those places are higher end places. They're kind of more of a luxury brand. And so it's a lot of people are doing video and 3D and
we get a lot more of our packages through there.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of the bigger, probably like 2 or 3 of our biggest individual clients are at that brokerage, right?
And the interesting thing they have set up, like their broker is an actual agent that's kind of like competing with them in a way, but he's using us, which, that kind of trickle down when the top people are using you, that always helps.
100%. So we basically, what the deal we have with them is we're preferred vendor, and then you kind of have the preferred prices, and it's kind of a big corporation that has, these little boutique arms. And so they kind of strong arm you on the price, and and to full disclosure, they make you sign the whole copyright thing, and you're just like,
hand it over. Yeah.
But for us, and this was a legacy client of mine that I had kind of coming into the Upmarket media merger. And, at a certain point that company took over a company that I had a lot of agents for. And so it was like, well, you either sign that or you lose all these clients. And you're like, well, I gotta, at that point I had no choice, right? It was like,
it's not just way around it.
Yeah. This is not like there's just one agent. You're like, well, forget it. I don't need them. But it was like, oh, my 4 biggest clients. I better sign this thing.
I know. What are you going to do?
You hold your nose a little bit and just do it. So, but it's worked out well for us. So basically they, and the brokerage pays for a portion of the marketing materials, and then the agent pays for stuff over a certain amount.
That's a pretty unique situation. I don't know of any other brokerage that does that.
Yeah. And it ends up being kind of a nightmare on our side for the billing and whatever. And so basically their marketing manager called me up last week and said that they were going to be changing up their system, that they're internally have been building out, effectively their Aereo. Right. And how they order, how they process their media, how they post the MLS, how it goes onto their, company website. All that stuff is going to be more streamlined. And so as part of that, they want to revamp the media that they get. And so basically they said that they're going to move to a different minimum package that then they pay for on every single listing, no matter. Because now basically they'll pay for a certain amount of stuff if it's $800,000 listings, and a different set of products if it's a $4 million listing, right? But now the least expensive listing and the most expensive listing gets the same package, and that package is going to be photos and a video. And then the agent would be responsible for any of the other add-ons, so it'd be Twilights or Aerials or whatever, which makes it a lot cleaner actually for us, because then you don't have to have all these different tiers and price point. Anyway,
you deal with the invoicing side of it. But
it was a bit more. It was a bit more opaque.
Crazy.
But here's the thing: so we did 65% of their listings last year, and the video, and and I don't know how many videos, how many listings they had last year, but I think we probably shot more in the neighborhood of 85, 90 listings for them. But we only did 37 videos. So if they're projecting 160 listings and we do 100. That's 100 videos for them.
Yeah.
So that's quite a big difference.
So we're going to triple our video business with one brokerage potentially?
Potentially, yes. Yeah. However, because I was reading the leaves or the tea leaves. I was reading between the lines in what we were talking about on this call, and I was getting the sense that they're going to be a little price conscious. Which in general they are. In some ways they are, and in some ways they aren't. But I think when they're talking about this big undertaking of like adding on video to every, then all of a sudden, oh man, that's going to be like a lot of money we have to shell out.
Right. Well, our video product's close to twice as much as our photo product, right? So if you add that in suddenly to every listing, I mean, they're running their numbers like, sheesh.
Yeah. So I then kind of said, well, what if we made it 100%? What if
forget 65%?
What if Upmarket Media did 100% of your listings? Then I think we could come up with a pretty nice price.
Yeah.
See,
I like that.
Oh yeah. And she's like, yeah, that is interesting. Problem is there's a couple there's a couple different offices with this brokerage, and one of the leads of the office doesn't actually use us for photography and has a photographer that they love, and then another couple of their high volume agents use that same photographer, and probably are loath to give up that photographer. But I guess on the brokerage level, they're not happy with the videos that photographer produces. So my pitch was, well, look, everything goes through us. We'll be the exclusive vendor for this brokerage. And what we'll do if those clients or, those realtors still want to use this other photographer, we can subcontract that photographer and we'll pay them full freight. We'll pay them, whatever you pay us, we will pay them for the photos. So they not going to see a change in their rate.
Yeah. Just flows through us now, right?
Yeah. But then I basically said, but we'll take care of everything that is not photos or aerial photos or twilight photos. We will do, video, we will do Matterport, we will do floor plans, we will do, whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of our core, or virtual staging, or whatever. We can do all of that stuff.
That allows him to keep his clients, right? It keeps those agents happy that they can use who they want. They're not being strong armed, and it's like we still get 100%.
Yeah, and then that way we can do 160 videos instead of 100. And then what do we do? Maybe we lose 30 or 40 of the photo shoots, and it's like, well, I'm fine with that. Theoretically, as long as the numbers we can come up with actually make it worth it for us.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where we're at, right? We're waiting for them to circle back with what that number is going to be.
So we're deep in negotiations right now. We will update this on a later episode, but it does bring up these things in it. But I think it goes back to what we were talking about with our big architecture job, the retail architecture job, is what happens if we get it.
Yes.
Right. And I think the lesson, again, that's actionable is like, okay, if you are going to get these big deals, you better be damn well sure that you can pull it off for the price that you say, and that then you also have logistically can take care of it. And I mean, so if we all of a sudden go from 37 videos for this brokerage to 160, that's quadrupling that's a lot of more videos. And I meant to run the numbers before we got on the podcast, but I would guess that 160 is roughly the number of videos we did all last year total, right?
Across everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're like,
could be a little more, but
you're looking at 2 hours to shoot and 2 hours to edit. Multiplied by that by an extra 130 videos.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I think on a lot of these, it's going to be a regular video and a real video. So it's like we're still working out what exactly that video product
that's a big part of it. Yeah, what it's going to be and what the workflow is.
But still, logistically, I mean, do we have the capacity for that? And it's hard right now when we're sitting here with like no work and being like, oh man. We have this capacity, but no work. And then you're looking at, but in April, we're going to need, so it's the classic seasonal thing, but it feels like exacerbated right now. And so what are we going to do in terms of like making sure we have that capacity if this comes in?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to reach that tipping point where like, man, we're maxed out on video with our current crew, or someone takes a vacation, or someone's like, oh, I'm moving on. It's just like, whoa, suddenly it's like you could be,
it's just the eternal question, right? Of like, of the cart before the horse, kind of always the thing.
It is. Yeah. And we're always trying to have our pipeline full of people, but you can't just interview a great person and just have them, just stand by. We'll be calling you in 3 months. Like,
right. And it never feels that good right now when we're having trouble actually feeding our current employees enough shoots to generate, good income for them. So, so it just seems absolutely insane to think about trying to hire somebody else. And I don't think, we have not inked this deal yet. So there's no possible way we should hire anybody, but I think we got to have a plan in place.
Yes.
Yeah. We have to lay out the different options, I guess. Having, we're talking about already, options on the back end of like outsourcing our video editing as a way to like keep our guys in the field shooting.
And the thing is, I think once you reach a certain volume of video, it's hard to see how you can't, unless you just have a whole slew of, videographers / editors. I mean,
yeah, because right now our 2 video people are editing their own stuff every day. It's just like, man, it's just not sustainable.
Well, and playing devil's advocate, we preach outsourcing photo editing. Why are we holding on so tight to video editing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think our video is very formulaic to the point where we could train someone to do it.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah. And the devil's advocate answer is, I think that we do, I think our videos are nice. And especially if you go to our cinematic Twilight video, and even, some of the style stuff that we have, it's very particular. And I think we've done a really good job of like keeping it fresh and moving it forward, which I think is a little harder to do when you're outsourcing, although the outsourcer can maybe come up with some ideas too. But I just feel like it just feels a little more like a factory at that point. And that's how the photos always feel, right? Like you're just like, it's a factory.
You lose a bit of that kind of magic or a bit of that touch.
Yeah, potentially. But, it's one of those things too, where you could outsource the majority, and then for XYZ, certain, anything over $5 million where you're going to edit in-house or,
well, for sure. The cinematic Twilight and all that stuff we can keep in-house. But we need to have that system in place. Like we're already starting to reach out and figure out what that could look like.
Yeah. And for sure, it's one of those things that even if we don't get this, it's something we should think about, because even just like kind of polling our staff and being like, hey, what do you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
I think video editing, I think like one of our guys enjoys video editing, one does not. And so then you're just thinking, well, it probably just makes sense. We can just got to see this as a business, and it probably makes sense to just outsource.
Yeah. Just keep them in the field shooting, making, producing income, and then we'll take care of the back end, because it doesn't make sense for them to be sitting at home for 4 hours when they could be in the field.
Yeah. Provided we have the shoots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will keep you updated on that. I guess we'll have big deals part 3.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll just have the follow. Yeah. The follow up. We'll let you know how our big brokerage stuff goes. Cause I think they want to get this turned around quickly, actually. So,
well, I think both of them, if they happen, are going to happen, in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be like start going forward on it. So
let's do it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, we're about growing and scaling and how to do that, right? You can't have these conversations as a solo shooter.
Right.
Because it's just, there's no way you can take on that kind of capacity. So it's like, it's the growing pains of a small business and a small team, and how much work can we really take on and pull it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, way to bring it back all the way around to like the whole grand theme of this whole enterprise we have going.
Trying to keep it on theme.
Yeah. So thematically, we should have action. And I think this brings us
we need action,
to our action items.
Oh boy.
So many good ones to choose from. It's going to be hard to.
We never run out of action items. So
no, God, no.
I came up with one.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you go first, Chelsea. Well, we decided like producer. It's at producer's discretion if the producer does an action item. So
And I decided why not today.
Okay.
With our social media sidebar.
Oh, I remember that.
If you don't have a YouTube channel, create one. And if you do have one, and say you don't shoot video, then maybe put together a slideshow of photos for a property, post it as a video to YouTube, post it to Shorts, post it to TikTok. Just start putting all your work out there, even if it's not video format. I think it's very important to just be on all those platforms. So
all right.
Step 1, if you don't have a YouTube channel, if you don't have TikTok, maybe download it.
Yeah.
Create one.
Time to get on board,
go from there.
Do as Chelsea says, not as she does.
Yes.
All right. I think I got one.
All right. Let's hear yours.
As much as I preach, because you guys know I preach this, of like when you're employing video in your business to have a video strategy, that's actually kind of what we preach to our realtor clients. And I think we all want to have strategy when it comes to how we're using social media and video. But you know what? Test out a short form a video for Instagram or Reel, for TikTok, where it's going to be you as the business owner on camera talking about something, whether it's just a behind the scenes about your day, whether it's a certain product that you use. The ones that we did this last week were all product based. Actually, they were all about the local marketing department services that we're actually officially rolled out to our clients last week.
It seemed like the best way to kind of roll those out, right? Rather than a scripted kind of thing. It's
right. Rather than just an email or just like a text post on Instagram. So we wanted to get in front of it to talk. So just talk about whatever you want, something about your business or just something about your day. Just make it so that there is, as that business owner, or have someone on your team, as much as we're like all about not having it always be associated with you. But I think that just having someone from your team on camera speaking directly to the audience, I think is an effective thing. And just give it a try, see what happens.
Yeah. It's scary, right? But it's the first one's going to be the scariest or whatever. And then it just is like, you'll improve, you'll tweak it, you'll get better or whatever. Over time.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, here's my action item.
The big dog coming in.
So we're talking, big deals, broker deals.
I love it. Yeah.
You can't get broker deals if you don't have relationships with brokers. And most of what we're doing, especially if you're a solo shooter in the field, you're interacting with agents. You really don't meet brokers that often unless they're an operating kind of realtor broker who's in the field and you're shooting for them. So, the one big broker deal that we're working on came from networking events, came from getting outside of just shooting and in your workflow. And it's being a part of the community,
right?
And being top of mind to people, being that person they think of when they're thinking about, hey, we need some kind of system for our office. Oh, Mark and Reed, they got Upmarket, they have a system that can help us. So it's kind of cultivating those relationships with brokers.
Yes.
Because there's really no other way that you can kind of fast track your growth.
Right.
Like you're just dripping realtors one by one, adding to your kind of customer base. But if you can hook into a broker and get 300 agents that suddenly know you're the guy to go to, then
super powerful. Yeah. So and that can be tricky. How do you get in front of that broker? But I mean, it could be as simple as you can cold email them and just say, hey, do you have 10 minutes for coffee or something?
And like I mentioned, the best way is if you have agents that you're working with in that office, use them as your fuel to kind of get in there. There's ways to do it.
Usually people will intro you. I mean, for the most part, I think realtors are open to, helping you out, especially if they like you and they like your work. They want to see you succeed. So some of them want to keep you close to the vest, but not all of them.
Yeah. So get out there, get in front of brokers and start making deals.
I think a good thing for that is LinkedIn also.
Oh,
I feel like that would be a great way to meet a broker.
No, I don't have LinkedIn.
Oh, maybe you should.
No.
Reed's got a lot
There's
to do.
another action item.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Thank you both. Why am I thanking you?
Thank you. Yeah. You did all the talking, man.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I'm almost after Las Vegas on this one. I ended up talking a lot. So imagine that. We're going to do more podcasts. We got some exciting podcasty stuff happening this year that we're going to be excited to roll out. And you might see old Reed some other places.
That's right. Yeah. Got some fun stuff coming on that front.
Exactly. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.